All right, Jim at RealTraps here, and I got a treat for you today. It's not often you get a chance to have a conversation with someone who's one of the best in the world at what they do. And we have that today. We're here with Tony Maserati, and we're here in his studio up in the Berkshires. I remember talking with you when you wanted to first get the room together up here, and you were telling me that you wanted to spend some time here, more time here, so you needed a place to work, and that's what we're about here. Yeah. So how's it been for you up here since you got it rebuilt and you got it going again?
Yeah, you know I got very lucky because the studio was in great shape when I left here about 4 years ago, and then we had an accident with snow crashed the rest of the barn except for this one little room.
Right.
So at that point I thought, oh, well, I guess we're going to have to demolish the whole building, what's left of it. And the insurance company said, no, you can keep that, that's fine. And, of course, the building inspector didn't care. But I thought, well, let me bring all the RealTraps that I had in this room out to the West Coast. And so that's what I did, and I repurposed the accounting office in the facility that my main room was in,
right.
And we created a prep room and an overdub room out there with all of those RealTraps,
right.
Which I'm not quite sure what was our count, about 14.
Yeah, something like
14 minis and 3 Mondos.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I can't remember, but it's in that ballpark for sure.
Yeah.
So, and just for people's reference, this room, it's probably, about maybe 15 by 20 or something like that?
I believe it's 21, 22 long, 15 and a half, 16 wide, depending on how much sheetrock, where you're at.
Exactly, yeah.
And then the ceiling height is 11 and a half, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a good-sized room. It's like a small studio that's tucked away in nature. It's really cool up here.
Yeah.
And, I definitely have an appreciation for that as well. Just being able to work where you are, that's such an important thing.
I had decided that I needed to be able to come here and be in my natural kind of setting that exists here.
Absolutely.
And get away from the city thing.
Absolutely.
Which was the original purpose of creating it 10 years ago. And it allows me to be closer to my parents, my sisters, and my wife's family, and we can spend time here, and I don't have to stop working. So I can work in the evenings and on weekends without any problem. I've got my internet, and that's all I need.
That's all you need. Ethan and I were talking earlier when we took a look at it, and there's not a lot of gear here.
No.
It's a great sounding room, and it's a set of speakers, and it's a laptop, and looks like a monitor controller, and that's really all you need.
I've really boiled my system down. Back in LA, we still have all my analog gear, and it's all plugged in, and I've got a tower and all that. But what I've done is I've created a duplicate Pro Tools setup in my laptop. So all the same plugins, a different, second eye lock, all the same plugins. And I just run a Toslink out directly into my Avocet. Okay. My Avocet has 3 speaker outs. It has a DAC. It has everything I need.
Right.
So I carry, so the Avocet, I can't live without that.
Right.
And my UAD, which powers the plugs. And that's what I carry. And I carry it. Oh, I've got the Black Lion DAC as well, just in case I just bounced down to Jungle City in New York, and the Black Lion DAC is great because I can just plug, 2 XLRs out,
right,
and
there you go,
and I'm good to go in Jungle City, and it all fits in my laptop bag.
Absolutely. Now, so you're actually completing mixes here, or do the mixes go back to LA and go through the analog stuff too, or is it?
That's a good question. They do often need to go through my analog setup back there.
Right.
But there are quite a number of projects that the timelines are so fast.
Yeah.
And the amount of updates, there's a tremendous amount of updates, whether they're sending me new files, or whether they're, one record I did, we actually mastered it, and they needed more adjustments after hearing the mastering, and I need to be able to bring it up anywhere.
Right.
I can't be tied down to a piece of analog compression or analog EQ.
Right.
So I make my choices, based on how solid the project is. If I know I've got, a producer that I've worked with a lot and I know his style, I can sit in front of the analog desk and work as I normally do with my hardware inserts and my analog summing chain and all of that.
Yeah.
But if it's a straight up pop thing and I'm unfamiliar with the artist and producer and how they work, I'll generally start it off in the box.
Right.
And then if I feel it needs to be split out or done anything with in the analog world, I'll do that later. Or I'll send it back and have one of my seconds do it.
Absolutely.
Which is great.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it's good that you have sort of a home base here in a good sounding space where you can hear accurately and all the rest of it. One thing that I remember crossed my mind when you contacted us a while ago to saying you're going to rebuild the space. Admittedly, one thing that ran through my head, it's like, oh wow, since the last time we have all these great new products, and we have this whole wide variety of stuff that's even better than what you had before.
Yeah.
And you were like, I'll just stick with what I had. It's still, it's our mini trap is still our flagship product. It's our most cost-effective product, and it's good enough for Tony Maserati. I think that's fabulous.
I have to tell you, I don't know that I've tabulated it for you guys, but I do a lot of promotion for your stuff, and I'm not just saying it because you're here. I just like it. It works.
Right.
And and so much of what's happening in today's studios is this.
Absolutely.
Is a guy trying to make a living, or a producer trying to write songs and make a living, and they really help. Obviously they really help because I've now bought 2 sets of them.
Right.
And there are friends of mine in the same facility that I'm in. One of the guys turned like a storage space into a studio. And I think I had them call you. As a matter of fact, I said, just call Jim and Ethan, get it dealt with. They'll tell you what you need.
Right.
I don't really know what I need. I just ask you guys because that's what you do. And I have to say, I continue to do that because I'm that kind of person. It's like I own 5 Avocets.
Right.
I've promoted them to at least 5 or 10 more people to buy them.
Yeah.
Same thing with your stuff. When I find something that works, a friend of mine bought, they make Roxel enclosures, quite flimsy product, but I'm sure that they're fine.
Right.
But for the one, I love the fact that these products, if I leave the space I'm in and move to another space, I just pop them off the wall and
absolutely
and move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't have to. The Roxel parts are whoever makes those. They're nice, but they're flimsy. They're going to last for whatever length of time they last, as long as you don't touch them.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that these are the kind of thing that you can move them around really easily because of the way they're mounted, and which is, as you know, extremely important when you're designing a studio.
Yeah.
Moving something 4 feet or even 2 feet is a huge difference.
Absolutely.
In a studio, and changing your position of your baffling and your diffusers is a tremendous of tremendous importance.
Yeah.
And they really work for that. I love the fact that the way you've designed them, they're mounted away from the wall, so they capture reflections in lots of different ways.
Yeah, that also gives you about another octave on the bass absorption on the low end when you space them out a little bit.
Yeah.
It gives you more overall absorption too, but it really helps the bottom octave. The specs on it for when you do that, it really helps it a lot. It's a great setup that you have here, and we appreciate you taking some time with us today. And I'm glad things are working well out here for you.
It's great.
It's a great place to be. I'm happy you get to spend more time here. It's really beautiful.
I had a moment the other day because my buddy Zach brought up the DMT 1200s and a Bryston, plugged it in, started working, and I just smiled from ear to ear because it sounded exactly the way it used to sound when I mixed a lot of records in this room.
Right.
You know, when I had the Neve here and the room sounded I just started smiling like, this is going to work.
Like coming home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the things we hear a lot is, I talk to, people at the top of the profession like yourself, and I talk to people in recording school still, and, they'll get them in. And that's the thing that they're excited about with RealTraps is like, wow, I'm going to have these my entire career.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take you, like you said earlier, from room to room and, start off with a few mini traps and add more as you get budget. And,
right.
Even a few makes a huge difference. And then certainly when you, do the full room like you have here, it's world standard room for you to do what you do. So that's fabulous.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thanks again for your time today, Tony, and thanks for your generosity with us over the years and all the referrals and being a RealTraps fan. We appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thanks.